So with that being said, we had a little technical difficulty there at the beginning. No big deal. But once again, I want to welcome you to the Spark on today. No matter what gets in our way, technical or otherwise, we're going to overcome it. You know why? Because we have the ability to do so. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and shout yourselves out. I am happy to be here with you and to just give you something I think will take you to another level. The title of today's lesson is Assume It Is So. Yep. Go ahead and make the assumption that it is so. And we're going to get into that. We're going to put that all together and help you to understand why this thing called the law of assumption, as it is, I call it a principle because that's all a law is. A law is an established principle that will work anywhere for anybody. And that's why we call them laws. But in this particular case, we're talking about assumption. And when you start talking about assumption, the way I like to do everything when I start learning things and getting into it, I like to kind of break the words down like assumption. I take it to the base word, assume, and then I start looking at that. I want to define what assume means, which in this case, it means assume means supposed to be the case. In other words, we take it as this is the way it is. Like we say, well, I would assume that so-and-so is the case. Well, and a lot of times we don't have proof of that. Assumption, the word assumption, when you spread it out, it means a thing that is accepted as true or certain to happen without proof. One more time. Assumption, defined as a thing that is accepted as true or certain to happen without proof. Now, this is going to be good. So, here's the thing. Where do assumptions come from? When we have assumptions that come to us and we make assumptions, where do they come from? Well, it comes from our mind. And most of the time we imagine it to be so. We get that image and, maybe something sparked it, but we can, if we're not careful and aware of what we're doing, an assumption can go a long, long, long ways. Yes, it can. So what we want to do, we want to make sure that our assumptions, we want to make sure that they're moving us towards our objectives, towards our goal. We want to make sure that our assumptions are giving us the type of life, because remember what we said we accept it as true or as certain to happen without proof. Now, we make assumptions all the time. Whether you recognize it or not, we do. The law of assumption states that things I hold fast to, things I believe, things I have faith in, and I believe they're going to occur in my life. And I don't have proof of that all the time. So you are doing it all the time. My question always is, am I doing it in the right manner? Am I doing it where it's going to lead me to where I want to go? Or I am assuming in such a way that it's taking me away from where I want to go? And you can go either way with it. Perfect example of that, a lot of times something will happen, or maybe we'll get word that something's going to happen. And in our mind, we start making assumptions about how it's going to go down. I had that happen to me just this week. I thought about something and then I was like, oh man. And then worst case scenarios started coming up. I was making an assumption and I had to check myself. I had to quickly check myself and say, whoa, wait a minute. Is that what I want to happen? No, because the definition of assumption says I accept it as truth or certain to happen. So I asked myself, is that what I really want to happen? Absolutely not. So what I did, I had to reframe and what we call renew my thinking in order to lead me in the direction that I wanted to go. And the great thing about it, about assumption, is you can do that. You can assume good or you can assume bad. You can assume small or you can assume large. It doesn't matter how you assume. Well, it does matter how you assume. It doesn't matter what or how in that direction. You can go either way, but you are going to see the reality. That's the best way for me to say it. We're going to see the reality of our assumptions. Now, I want you to go in the right direction. I want you to go for it all. I want you to assume and make assumptions that's going to lead you to where you want to go. that's going to lead you to success. And today we're going to talk about how to do that. But here's the thing. There are challenges to the law of assumption. Many times we're challenged. I'll just give it to you like this. Our sense realm, the five senses, challenge us when we are assuming or imagining other things, because really your assumptions come out of your imagination. I said they come out of your mind, but your mind and your imagination, they're connected. So what we do, we imagine certain things to happen. That's an assumption. And we believe it will happen. That's an assumption. And we believe it's going to come to pass. And the truth of the matter is, if you hold to it long enough and you stay with it long enough, it will come to pass. You've heard people say this right here. Only what you can see physically is real. Okay, that's one of the challenges. And people want to challenge you with, they want to tell you, get out of your head. Well, I hear that. And I hear that seeing is believing. And another one, people tell you, stop imagining things. Just stop it. Now, I would agree with that if you're imagining things negatively. And I would agree with that you need to get out of your head if you're questioning things that could be helping you strongly. I'll agree with all of that. And I will also go as far as to say that seeing is believing. But I believe there's two folds to seeing. There's what you can see with your natural eyes, and there's also what you can see with your imagination. I am one who believes that you should be seeing with your imagination the very thing that you want in your life. You can also see with your imagination things you don't want in your life, and you need to check those at the door when they come into your life. Don't allow them to hang around. Don't give them space in your mind, because they will become a reality in your life. People don't believe that. What I assume to be true becomes my reality. And I don't even have to have proof of it. That's powerful. So the danger with these challenges, as I stated them, the danger is if we live within those challenges, if we say seeing what I can see physically is real and that's it, if we say, hey, I got to get out of my head, if we say I got to stop imagining things, here's the danger of that. If I live within those challenges, and I will continue to get what I've always gotten. I will continue to get only what I can see, because I understand that it's very challenging for your five senses to be telling you that you're not going to make it, that your five senses be telling you, hey, look around you, because this is where you're at. That is challenging. But I will share this with you. If you don't get out of your sense realm nature and get to the imaginative state, you're always going to get what you've gotten. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute, because I'm getting ready to say something that I believe if you'll think about it, I think that it's going to change the way you see this, and I think it's going to help you go in the direction that I'm leading you. Everything, and I do mean everything, that is here now, everything that you see now, everything that you touch now, everything that you smell, taste, in the sense realm was once an image in someone's mind. Good, bad, large, small, I don't care what it is. It was all an image in someone's mind. So if it was an image in someone's mind, where does everything start from? It starts from your imagination. And the stuff that's in your life right now, whether you want to accept that or not, started in your imagination. You began to imagine certain things and you held on to those things, and those things became your reality and showed up in your life. Now, that's good news and bad news. Because the good news, well, let me give you the bad news. I always like to give you the bad news, because the bad news, if you continue to imagine the certain things, you're going to continue to get the certain things that you've always gotten. But you can change. You can begin to imagine good things. I told you about this last week. You can be very specific about what you want. You can create a fulfillment event. What is a fulfillment event? Go back last week and listen to last week's lesson, because I talked about you creating a fulfillment event. And then I said, immobilize your body and mentally perform the event and just persist. Stay with it. Now you're going to come out and you're going to meet your sense realm reality. But you got to learn how to shut the door. What is going on when that happens? Because you know yourself. I've done this myself. I've come out of it feeling really good, and maybe I'm holding on to it for 2 or 3 days. Then all of a sudden, I begin to question, how is this going to happen? Look at my situation. All of these things going on around me. That is nothing more than the conditioning of your subconscious mind. But your mind can be renewed subconsciously. You can impress something else in there, even in the midst of everything that you're dealing with and what's going on. You can impress something new. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm just telling you it's doable. And you have to make a concerted effort to put everything into it that you have and that you've got. And whenever you're challenged by your present situation, whenever you're challenged by that, go back to what we said before. I had someone tell me, I was listening to someone teach this, and they were talking about the sense realm messing you up. And they said, when you find your vibration dropping and you find yourself questioning how this, that, and other thing, go take a nap. What do you mean? Go to sleep, because then everything shuts down. And so what you can do, you can get a handle back on it. Now, I want to give you 2 more things, and then I'm going to let you go. And this is big. Don't future imagine. What? Don't future think. Don't future imagine. What do you mean? I want you to do this. If you don't remember anything else today, I want you to bring then into now. And I want you to bring over there right here now. What do I mean? I want you to assume it now. I want you to see it in your head now. I want you to feel it in your body now. This is not something in the future. This is here now for you. And how is it here now for you? Through your imagination. You can imagine right now. You could be sitting in New Jersey and imagine that you're sitting on the beach in Florida. Yes, you can. And the thing about it is, it can be freezing cold in New Jersey. I was looking yesterday, New York, 6 degrees. You could be sitting in 6-degree weather, but be warmed by the sun of Florida in your mind. Yes, you can. And if you hold on to that and you persist in that and you that's what you just did. You brought Florida all the way to New York in your mind. You brought the heat of Florida from Florida to New York in your mind. You got the feeling of warmth. You can feel the sea or smell the sea breeze, feel it upon your skin. Yes, you can do this. And when you do that, if you hang with it and stay with it and persist with it, that will become your present reality. That's how it's done. Now, I know I got wound up because I do. I get wound up about this because I'm living this. As I said before, I'm not trying to prove anything to you. You're going to prove it to yourself when you take these principles and you begin to walk through them. If I were you, and I really do mean this because I do it, I would begin right now to sit down and start getting very specific about what I want. And let me say this, take the limits off. Take them off. And don't worry about how. Oh my goodness, we wear ourselves out thinking about how is this going to be. I'm going to share something with you. There's a story in the Bible where Mary was visited by an angel, by a spirit. And the spirit told Mary, you're going to become pregnant and you're going to give birth to Jesus, the Savior of the world. And Mary said something. She said, how can this be, seeing that, I don't have any relationships with a man? And that angel told her that the Holy Ghost is going to come upon you. The Spirit is going to come upon you, and this thing is going to happen. There's another story. I can go on and on. There's another story in the Bible about this guy named Job. Now, he used it negatively. He thought that his children would party all night and all day and sin against God. And he thought about it and imagined his children doing this so much that it happened. And he says, this thing which I greatly feared has come upon me. So you got one who did it positively, and you got one who feared it, and it showed up in both of their lives. And I am sharing with you on today, that's exactly how it is for you and I. I'm telling you, the key thing to this is what you assume becomes your reality. You assume it to be true, you persist in it, it becomes your reality. And I want it for you today. So we started out with some technical difficulty and we finished up with a blast. So I want you to go and take this and I want you to live it out this week. Hold on to it. Go back all the way to the beginning of January and listen to everything that I've shared with you and begin to work your plan and watch great and wonderful things come your way. Boy, I hope this has helped you on today. If it has, would you please do me a big favor and share this with somebody? People need to know this. 2023 is the year of the imagination. Use your imagination for good and watch great and wonderful things come your way. And I got to get out of here. So I'll see you next time. But remember this right here. You are the architect of your life. And I believe in you. I'll see you next time. Bye.